Hello class, welcome back to XY Lecture 101. In this video, I will be teaching you how to balance the chemical equations. In order to balance the chemical equations, we have 3 steps to follow. Step number 1, count the atoms on each side of chemical equation. Step 2, only change the coefficient and do not change the subscripts. Step 3, dealing with polyatomic atoms, count polyatomic ions as one item. So before we start to balance the chemical equation, let me recall some data about chemical equation. So the composition of chemical equations are the following. We have reactants and products. So what is the difference between reactants and products? So reactants, those are the substance that will undergo chemical reaction, while product, the substance formed after the chemical reaction. So this is the reactant, the left side in the chemical reaction, while product is in the right side of chemical reaction. So first step, we have to count all atoms on each side. Okay, we have iron, oxygen. Again, the first step, count all atoms on each side of chemical equation. So, how many atoms do we have in iron? 1. And then we have 2 atoms, oxygen. And then, at the product, we have 2 atoms of iron, and then we have 3 atoms of oxygen. And then step 2, only change the coefficient and do not change the subscript. Do not change the subscript or the number of atoms. It means you can only change the coefficient. This one, the coefficient. So for example, number 1, there is 1 value, because always remember that if there is no value, automatically there is 1 value. Okay, so therefore, in the left side, we have 1 atom of iron. Same with the other side. And then oxygen, we have 2 atoms of oxygen. And then the right side, we have 3 atoms of oxygen. So how to make them balance? So what number are we going to write at the coefficient? So for example, we're going to write 4. 4. 1. So therefore 1 times 4 equal to 4. And then since we have 4 at the left side, we should have 4 atoms at the right side also. So we are going to add 2. Therefore 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 4. And then another, we have 2 oxygen. So what number are we going to add? Okay, 3. So 2 times 3 is equal to 2 times 3 is equal to 6. And then, since we add 2 at the right side, 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So they are balanced now. Okay, number 2, we have to count all the atoms on each side. So we have silver, hydrogen, and sulfur. So how many atoms do we have at the left side? How many atoms of silver? So we have 1, and then we have 2, and then we have 1. So let's go to the right side. So how many atoms do we have in silver? Okay, 2. What about sulfur? How many atoms? 1. And then hydrogen, we have 2. Okay, step 2, we are going to change the coefficient and do not change the subscript. We cannot change the subscript, this one, subscript. But the coefficient, we can change the coefficient. 1, 1, 1, 1. So since we have hydrogen 2, and then at the right side we have 2, and then sulfur 1 at the right side 1. So we just change the atom of silver. So since we have 2 atoms of silver at the right side, we should have 2 atoms at the left side. So we are going to add 2. So 1 times 2 equal 2. So therefore, the chemical equation is now balanced. Okay, number 3, we are going to count all atoms at the both sides. So our elements are the following: aluminum, copper, and chlorine. So how many atoms do we have in aluminum? 1. And then copper we have also 1. And then chlorine we have 2. So let's go to right side. Aluminum, copper, and chlorine. So how many atoms do we have in aluminum? So 1. And then copper we have 1. And then chlorine we have 3. So what number are we going to add to balance aluminum? Okay, let's write 2 here at the left side. So since we write 2 or we add 2, so 1 times 2, we have 2. And then, since we have 2 atoms of aluminum at the left side, we should have 2 atoms of aluminum at the right side. So we are going to add 2 at the right side. So 1 times 2 is equal 2. So our aluminum is balanced. So let's go to copper. So copper, so we are 1. But it is complicated with the chlorine. So therefore, we are going to add number that is not complicated to the number of chlorine. So let's try 3. 3. So we add 3 here. So it means 3 times 1 is equal to 3. So since we add 3 at the left side, we should add 3 at the right side to be equal. This one. So 1 times 3 is equal to 3. So and then the number of chlorine, since we add 3 here at the coefficient of copper chloride, we have 3 times 2. Times 3 is 2 times 3 is equal to 6. And then go to the right side. 2 times 3, always remember that this 2 is for aluminum and chlorine. And then chlorine has 3 atoms. So therefore, 3 times 2 is equal to 6. So the chemical equation is now balanced. So let's proceed to number 4. Step 1 counts all atoms at the sides, at both sides. So we have Pb or lead, sulfur, and oxygen. So how many atoms do we have in lead? 1. How about sulfur? We have 2. Oxygen, we have 2. Okay, go to the right side. Lead, sulfur, oxygen. So we have 1 atom, and then we have, how many atoms of sulfur do we have? So 1, and then oxygen is 4. 2 plus 2, 4. So now, what number are we going to add to balance the chemical equation? To balance the chemical equation. So, let's try 3. We are going to add 3 at the oxygen, this one. So, therefore, the number of atoms in oxygen will be 6. Because 2 times 3 equal 6. And then, since we have 6 atoms of oxygen at the left side, we should have 6 atoms at the right side. So, therefore, we are going to add 2. So, 2 times 2, no, we have already 4 atoms of oxygen at the right side. 4 plus 2, because the operation is 2. So therefore, we have 6 atoms of oxygen. And then, the sulfur will come 2. Is equal to 2. So, the chemical equation is balance. So, okay, number 5. So, always remember the step 3 dealing with polyatomic atoms. It means you have to count the polyatomic ions as one item. So, let's balance the chemical equation. So, we have calcium. And then this one, polyatomic ion, we have sulfate. We have sulfate. And then sodium. And then this one, another polyatomic ion. Polyatomic atoms, we have nitrates. Okay, what is the, or how many atoms do we have in calcium? So we have 1, and then how many atoms do we have in sulfate? So we have 4 times 1, and then it's equal to 4. And then we have, how many atoms do we have in sodium? 1. And then what about the atoms in nitrates? So 3 times 1 is equal to 3. So go to the next side, or the right side. Calcium, sulfate, and then sodium and nitrate. Okay, how many atoms do we have in calcium? 1, And then sulfate we have 4 times 1 is equal to 4. And then sodium we have 2. And then we have nitrate we have 3 times 1. This one. No, 3 times 2 is equal to 6. So let's make this chemical equation balance. So since we have 6 atoms of nitrate at the right side, we should have 6 nitrate at the left side. So we are going to add 2. So we are going to add here 2. So therefore 2 times 3 is equal to 6. 2 times 2 is equal to 6, which is equal to the right side. So the number of the nitrate at the both sides is 6. And then, since we write here 2, the number of atoms of sodium will become 2. So 1 times 2 is equal to, which is equal to the right side. So the chemical equation is balance. Let's summarize how to balance the chemical equations. Step 1, count the atoms on each side of chemical equation. Step 2, only change the coefficient. Subscript will not be changed. Step 3, dealing with polyatomic atoms. Count polyatomic ion as one item, just like what we did in a number 4, because number 5 rather. Number 5 composed of polyatomic atoms. And then, try this chemical equation. Write your answer at the comment box. And if you are new here, please hit the subscribe button below and click the notification bell so that you will be notified on my next videos. I hope you learned something from this discussion. Thank you for watching.